Michael pushed open the heavy front door and stepped inside. The house was silent, just like always. He dropped his leather briefcase near the entrance and loosened his tie. The board meeting had ended earlier than expected, and instead of returning to the office, he decided to come home. His footsteps echoed through the marble hallway, expensive shoes clicking against the polished floor. Everything looked perfect. The paintings were straight, the furniture gleamed in the soft afternoon light. Yet something felt different. There was a smell in the air, warm, familiar, food. Michael frowned. Emily, the young housekeeper, usually cooked dinner in the evening, never during the day, and she always ate quietly in the small kitchen at the back of the house, never in the formal dining room. Curious, Michael moved silently toward the sound. When he reached the dining room doorway, he froze. The large mahogany table stood at the center of the room. For nearly 5 years, since his wife passed away, that table had remained untouched, cold, empty. Michael never sat there anymore. It carried too many memories. But today, it was alive. Emily sat at the head of the table, still wearing her uniform and bright yellow cleaning gloves. Around her sat 4 small boys, no older than 4. They were identical. Messy brown hair, round faces, big, curious eyes. Each wore a blue shirt and a tiny apron. On their plates sat simple portions of yellow rice, the kind of meal people make when money is tight. Emily fed them gently, 1 spoon at a time. "Eat slowly, my little birds," she whispered with a soft smile. "There's enough for everyone. No need to rush." One boy giggled. Another reached for his water cup. Emily smiled and brushed his hair back. "One day, you'll all be strong and important, but never forget to share and take care of each other. That's what matters most." The boys nodded, their faces glowing with trust. The grand room, once empty and lifeless, now felt warm, like a home. Michael stood hidden in the hallway, his heart pounding. Who were these children? Why were they here? And why did Emily look at them like they were hers? He stepped closer. Then he noticed it. The shape of their noses, the curve of their smiles, the way one boy held his fork, delicate, familiar. Michael's breath caught. He had seen that gesture before, in old photos, in mirrors, in memories of himself as a child. These boys looked exactly like him. His legs felt weak, impossible, and yet undeniable. Then, his shoe creaked against the floor. Emily snapped her head toward the sound. Color drained from her face. The spoon slipped from her hand and clattered onto the plate. Her eyes locked onto Michael's stare. The boys sensed her fear and turned toward him, one by one. Confusion, curiosity, and something else. Recognition. Michael's voice came out cold and sharp. "What is this?" Emily stood up so fast her chair nearly fell. Her hands trembled inside the yellow gloves. "Sir, please, I can explain." One of the boys reached for her hand. "Mama Emily, who's he?" The words hit Michael like a punch. Mama Emily. "Take them upstairs," Michael said firmly. "Then come back alone." Emily nodded, whispering reassurance as she led the boys away. They glanced back at Michael with worried eyes. When they were gone, the room fell silent again. Michael collapsed into a chair. "Talk," he said. Emily stood across from him, tears streaming. "Their mother was my older sister," she said. "Her name was Anna." Michael looked up sharply. "I don't know anyone named Anna." "You met her 5 years ago," Emily said quietly, "at a charity event. She worked catering that night." Michael's mind raced back, those dark months after his wife died. "You were grieving, alone," Emily continued. "She said you looked lost." The memory was blurry, but real. "You were together for one night," Emily whispered. "Just one. She never told you.
She was scared. You were powerful. She thought you wouldn't believe her, or that you'd take the babies." "Babies," Michael breathed. "She was pregnant," Emily nodded, "with 4 identical boys." Michael felt dizzy. "She raised them alone," Emily cried. "3 jobs, no help. Last year she got sick, and she didn't survive." Michael closed his eyes. "She made me promise to protect them." 4 sons, hidden from him. "Why didn't you tell me?" I asked. "I was terrified," Emily sobbed. "They only know me. I didn't want to lose them." Michael turned to the window. "They're mine," he said quietly. "My children." "Yes," Emily whispered, "but to them, I'm their mother." Everything changed that night.
The next morning, Michael said softly, "I want to meet them," as their father. That afternoon, he knelt before 4 nervous little boys holding hands. "Hello," he said gently. "I'm Michael, your dad." Emily nodded through tears. One brave boy stepped forward. "Our dad? Like in the stories?" "Yes," Michael whispered. "And I'm sorry I didn't know sooner, but I'll never leave again." "Will you play with us?" another asked. Michael laughed, a sound he hadn't heard from himself in years. "Every day." From that moment on, the house transformed. Meetings were canceled. Breakfasts were shared. Laughter replaced silence. Michael honored Emily. "You're not a maid," he told her. "You're family." The dining table filled again, sometimes with fancy meals, sometimes with simple yellow rice. What mattered was love. One night, as Michael tucked them in, a boy asked, "Dad, are you happy?" Michael smiled. "Happier than I've ever been."